they get it all out, then you're kind of wondering what's going to happen next, and I think that's why this scene works so well.
It does. It's really real life. This is really a real life moment. The situation they're in isn't real life, but the actual fight feels real. And that's the cool part. It feels so real.
Well, they also really have to clear the air because it's basically hoping to get rid of the scent of donkey sex.
Oh, my Lord.
And cake.
Yeah.
And cake.
But mostly donkey sex.
Cake. Cake has layers.
Yeah.
So, and this is where this is Randall. Randall does have the... This would have been the mic drop moment if it wasn't for the fact we have another 8 minutes of this fight going on. I'm the engaged man who knocked up the boss.
Yeah.
And Jay drops down from the top. By the way, this is Jay. I think it's one of his last, what the fuck, Jay? What the fuck are you thinking moments where it's like, you knocked up the guy that owned movies?
Ew.
What? Wait a second. Does Jay have no logic at all?
Even better is Bob's expression that just goes...
But wait a minute. Jay is still under the influence.
No, actually, he's not. He is sober in this movie.
Really?
He's 100% sober in this movie.
Really?
In the movie, he is sober.
Okay.
He had the chip and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's sober.
Excellent.
Yeah, really at the beginning of the movie. This is actually, Jay Muse is clean, too, in this role.
Good.
Right. Jay Muse legitimately, for this movie, is clean because he was told he could not be... he was actually going off the wagon. He was already back on the wagon for this movie. So that's a big deal.
Basically, the two things that led him to actually finally put a serious effort into staying clean, being Jay again, and not being able to hang around Harley.
Yes, exactly. Being around Harley Quinn Smith. That's a big deal.
Okay.
So, you know what, to Kevin's point?
Yeah.
There you go. Good call. It worked perfectly, and now it's been years.
Yeah.
And he's still sober to this day.
Well,
ever since then, he's been... I think he had one hiccup. Other than that, he's been sober ever since.
Yeah.
God bless him. God bless
That's
him.
a long time, too. If you think about the time frame, it's a long time.
And he's incredibly nice in real life.
Yes, we talked about that in a different episode. Yeah. He's a great guy. So, Jay's just being Jay. And Dante... said, would you just shut up? And now the two of them go at it. Now, you had the reference point from the first movie here.
Yeah.
You can look up the reference point. Go ahead.
Oh,
Julie Dwyer's funeral.
What?
Julie's funeral.
Oh, Julie Dwyer. Yeah, they're talking about that a year ago at Julie Dwyer's funeral where he said, I have to go and shit and get off the pot. You're the one who told me to shit or get off the pot.
That was a fantastic reference to the first movie.
Yeah.
We didn't have many references to the first movie at all in this movie. Yeah. And I think there's only one or two references we've made to the first movie. I think it's a good one. It's a great one because it kind of sets up. It's almost 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Yet, we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Well, there you go.
That's a lot of time.
Yes.
So, we go back and forth, and apparently they went to college for a little while.
Yeah.
And they went to, I have it on my phone, I looked it up right before we came on the air.
Okay.
They went to Brookdale Community College, which you mentioned as Brookdale. I looked this up, and this is a real school. It is in Middletown, New Jersey, established in 1967. It is a community college, which is like Bergen Community College. I went to Bergen Community College.
Yeah.
So it's a real school.
Okay.
And it looks like a pretty good college. I'm looking up the website right now. It's on brookdalecc.edu. Well, who doesn't want to look this up. And it's pretty much a straightforward community college, but it's a real place. And I like the fact that they reference a real school. Plug a real school in here. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, outstanding.
They actually have a radio station and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, Randall mentions that they dropped out, and of course, Dante tries to say it's because you stopped coming.
Oh, yeah, what it was Dante dropped out of school because Randall stopped going to class. That's how we clarified it.
Yeah, we were just killing time taking those classes. We even studied criminology for one semester, where we were starting to be Batman.
Hey.
What a great line, though. The fact that, knowing how much Kevin loves Batman, and this is the one reference to Batman in this movie. I love that.
And even better is that you have Jay and Bob giving each other knowing glances.
They laugh.
Yeah.
They're literally a tub of popcorn away from being audience members of this movie.
Not to mention the fact they're probably thinking of Blunt Man and Chronic at the same time.
But but here's the thing: you watch this movie and you kind of wonder, how many times they had to retake a scene because these guys would break down and say the lines and then get the gags and the jokes. So I mean, I'm sure that there had to be a lot of scenes that were, had many takes in it because.
Don't they have outtakes on the DVD? I think.
I'm not sure.
I think so. Yeah, we'll have to do that in another episode. We'll have to go through all the deleted scenes.
But everything flows together really well. So you got to give credit to Kevin Smith for that.
Well, he's also the editor.
He edited this movie. He actually edited this movie as they were filming it.
Well, there you go.
He edits his own films.
Good.
Actually, here's the true story about this movie in particular.
Okay.
They rented a hotel for all the cast.
Right.
Kevin rented out 3 rooms for himself. One for him and his wife and his kid. Another one for like production stuff. And another one was an editing bay. He literally turned this room into an editing bay so he could edit the movie while they were filming it. So at the end, for dailies, instead of having dailies, he could go in and just edit the movie.
Right.
And then show them the edited stuff already.
Okay.
With the music. Oh, I think the music was the only thing that edited. Music was later. But everything else he was able to edit, which is pretty cool. That's pretty
So
cool.
basically he's kind of like his own critic.
Yeah.
Which is
And
good.
he does his own work. I like this.
Good.
I like the fact
Good.
that he does all this stuff. It's really cool to me.
Good. I mean, that's great. Because then he puts out a finished product that he's proud of.
Yes. And as someone who is the producer of many podcasts, I appreciate the fact that someone does take all the effort and does all the work like that. Because it's so rare that someone does that kind of work for a movie like this outside of the indie circuit, you know? I mean, it's kind of in the glorified indie film at the end of the day, you know? Because this is only our, third location?
It's better than most indie films that I've seen.
I was saying, is this like only our third location in this movie at this point? Because we had the car scene at the beginning, our car scene for 1979, and everything else has been at movies.
All the go-karts.
And the go-karts.
Yeah.
And then this.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's not bad. I mean, of course, we have the quick stop at the end, but that was, as we'll learn later, we'll get to that with Ming. We'll get to that with Ming later. But that's that, and that's pretty cool. So
it's just more like a lot of indie films that I've seen are mainly just, people talking and trying to sound very meaningful or pretentious in that, when in fact it's just basically the guy trying
to...
Yeah, it's basically the guy trying to sound smart.
It's like trying to do Clerks without heart.
Right.
Yeah.
But
basically, when you do stuff like that, but you get a big budget, you get Southland Tales.
But you got to look at this for what it is. It's a movie that kind of pokes fun at several things, and basically you can laugh at yourself with this movie. So I mean,
that has been the movie's been at home.
And the thing is, you can't take this Clerks 1 and 2 seriously. You take it for what it is.
Actually, no. Clerks 1 is a straight-up lesson on how you make a great indie film. Clerks 2 is Kevin Smith celebrating the fact that he's had this career. That's pretty much what Clerks 2 It's a celebration of what I've been able to pull off for the last 15 years.
Basically, the reason, this is going to elaborate on the reason why I hate it.
Go for it.
Southland Tales. It's what happens when you squander your indie cred that you get for making an actually decent movie, thinking that you're a fucking genius, and thus making the movie confusing as all hell, connecting it with 3 graphic novel prequels, and trying to basically make it this sort of like interactive experience when in fact the prequels just managed to make the story even more confusing. You have a cast that doesn't know what the fuck is going on in the movie, and you think you're a fucking genius only for the critics to basically dismiss it, and it to basically torpedo your career for a while. Hell, his next movie was The Box, which was considerably scaled back compared to Southland Tales, but it didn't do too well.
Well, now that we got that off your chest,
that's fine. He's allowed.
But
it's his show. He's allowed to do something like that.
All right.
Basically, UJ always kept telling me to tell him what the plot was. I told him I can't really describe what the plot is.
Okay. But the thing is with this movie, though,
back to this movie.
Yeah. You don't take it seriously. You take it for what it is, and I think that's Kevin Smith's.
This is fun.
That's Kevin Smith's part of his repertoire or appeal is that you poke fun of yourself, you can laugh at yourself, and basically you don't take things too seriously, which is good because we need to have that where you're able to laugh at yourself. And
the fact that we're getting a Jay and Silent Bob reboot says a lot about Kevin Smith's sense of humor.
Right.
The fact that he's willing to go back and make fun of a movie that was making fun of the Hollywood world says something to me.
And also what I was going to say was, I'd say the only movie of his that he really took himself seriously on was probably Red State. And even that...
Well, Dogma, too. He was taking a little bit serious because he was trying to get to a point of something in that movie.
But yeah, with Red State, he was trying to make a horror film, and you had to take it seriously there.
Which, by the way, he has openly said that is the movie that should have been nominated for some kind of an Oscar.
Yeah,
and he's still to this day bitter that they didn't nominate that movie for an Oscar.
Yeah,
he's bitter, and I don't blame him for it.
Yeah.
Let me put this question out there.
I think it was just more the critics were just
he thinks Michael Park deserved it.
Okay, so let me put this question out there.
He should have gotten it for Tusk.
Let me put this question out there. Do you think that people like on the Academy Board look at him differently and he snub him because he's not one of these prim and proper guys that direct?
I was joking about this during the Emmy Awards. I was joking about this during the Emmys. Mm-hmm. The Emmy Awards are turning into the Academy Awards.
Yeah,
more or less.
That I have no idea what the fuck is winning awards. I don't know any of these. I don't know any movies. I don't know any of these TV shows. I have no clue what's going on.
People that want great art and all that, and basically will nominate something obscure just to make sure that the great art gets the recognition it deserves.
But
I don't understand that logic.
You guys knew, or I don't know if you heard of this, that they were put in category best movie.
Maybe. It's questionable. It's still questionable.
Well, from what I understand is they're not going to put it in anymore.
Yeah, it was questionable, and then they realized how dumb about it was.
Right, and my thing is that I think
people were making fun of it. That's what happened
right.
there.
My thing is, I think it should stay because basically, then you're overlooking pictures that have that opportunity to have that.
On the downside, it means that Michael Bay can be nominated for an Oscar.
But technically, he has been for like visual effects. He doesn't get the credit in those movies.
Well, still.
But that still counts. I'm just saying, he still does count.
Because
using that thing, then Adam Sandler has been nominated for an
he has
Oscar.
been.
But here's the thing: if you look at it, like during the time Black Panther was on,
that deserves some credit.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you've got like Marvel movies that are out there.
I think my problem is with the Academy Awards in general. There was a time where the popular movie actually won the damn awards.
Like Jaws.
Jaws. Even Titanic to a point.
Yes.
Titanic, while it's very arty and a lot of people don't love it, it's still one of the biggest movies ever made.
Well,
and it won all the awards. But that deserves it.
To be quite honest, big guy,
okay.
The last picture that I think actually did deserve the Best Picture award was Spotlight. And quite honestly, it was one that UJ and I enjoyed immensely.
Okay, that's fine.
You have to see it. I'm sorry.
That's fine, though. I'm just making a point, though.
But most of it's just basically this foreign, very special movie, illness. Someone's got a terminal illness. Basically, it's the kind of bait that I thought Wonder was.
Okay, but you look at something and then you got Quentin Tarantino that does Pulp Fiction and basically gets all these nominations and awards.
I think it's a effort to basically try and get people off the track that they love the art, that they prefer art films.
But I'm looking up right now. I got the Academy Awards up right here.
Okay.
I got some 2000 on movies that have won Best Picture. Gladiator.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful Mind.
Yes.
I saw that one. Yeah, it deserved it.
Yeah.
Chicago. Okay, fine. At the time, I'm not a big fan of the movie. It was good, but I've always said this: if Chicago did not win that Oscar, then Rent and Hairspray don't get made. And that's a fact. It's on the DVD sets.
But I think, too, with Chicago is a lot of people saw the Broadway show and then went to see the movie.
But still, Chicago was not nearly as good as everyone said it was. I watched it. It wasn't as good. Okay. But again, I said on the DVD sets, Rent and Hairspray don't get made if that movie doesn't win an Oscar.
Got it.
So that says something right
They
there.
also tend to snub a lot of horror and sci-fi movies.
I was going to say, and then the next up is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, and that's pretty much as Lord of the Rings, the franchise won an Oscar. That's what that was. So I'll let that one slide.
What I was going to say is, come on, The Fly. How could Jeff Goldblum not get a Best Actor nom?
And then you had $1 Million Baby, which deserved it. That's a great movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's a great movie.
Yes.
And then Crash.
I liked it.
Okay.
But here's the thing with Crash, I don't think it was worth all the hype they gave it. But that's just me.
But also, I don't think Brokeback Mountain was worth all the hype either.
True. Very
true. The only reason they wanted it to win was because
it was what it was. Because of what it was.
Yeah.
Because of gay cowboys, not because it was a good movie.
But you have to look at when the movie was put out and during the time and
it was
era.
an odd timing.
Right.
But you want to know what's ironic? Back then, Brokeback Mountain was seen as the more controversial movie while Crash was the safe one. Nowadays, that would be reversed.
But during the time that Brokeback Mountain came out, it was a time when a lot of people were basically, how can I put it, telling people about their sexuality and were coming out, and that picture kind of helped a lot of people do that.
I want to make a note real fast. I just went back a little further because we're talking about the 2000s.
Okay.
We're talking about popular movies that won Oscars, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Popular movies that have won a kind of more. This is more in the 90s. So here we go.
Okay.
Dances with Wolves, Silence of the Lambs, Unforgiven, Schindler's List, Forrest Gump, Braveheart, The English Patient, Titanic, Shakespeare in Love, American Beauty. What I will say though, that's the 90s. There's a lot of movies in there I've actually seen.
Those last two I really wouldn't count as popular movies.
1997, this is the best picture in 1997, and this is a ridiculous list now looking back.
Okay.
Titanic, As Good as It Gets, The Full Monty, Good Will Hunting, and LA Confidential. That's a hell of a group of movies.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell you have that kind of group now.
That's one of those
There's no way.
That's a group where you just go, eeny, meeny, miny.
If it wasn't Titanic's year, that would have been a tougher category. If it wasn't Titanic's year.
you were referencing Southland Tales before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. To me, Southland Tale is a ripoff of